My grandfather once told me, time and tides wait for no man. See, the thing is with time is it's very peculiar. We move across space along 3 dimensions, but when it comes to time, we can only move across 1. The strange thing about time is you can never get more of it, you can never buy more of it, you can never change what happens in the past. It only moves forward unrelentingly. Oftentimes we get so caught up in our day-to-day experiences, in our day-to-day activities, and we have all these decisions that we keep putting off until tomorrow. But the thing is, if you really think about what tomorrow is, essentially, at least my own definition of it, is tomorrow is just today with the date on the calendar changed ever so slightly. Tomorrow is just a future present moment, and we think for some strange reason that tomorrow represents a change in how we feel about making a decision, where we'll be in a position when we have more motivation or less fear, but oftentimes that is never the case. The thing is though, is if we just confronted this decision and we just made it today, sometimes we are not aware of how much this decision could have an effect on our lives later down the line. I have a couple ways to illustrate this as well on how much a small decision can have an impact on your life. For example, the very birth of time itself, the Big Bang, the majority of the expansion in the Big Bang happened in fractions of a second. Another way to illustrate this is imagine you are taking a plane from LA to New York. However, when you come on board, the pilot makes a very small announcement, which is they're going to adjust the head of the plane 3.5 degrees south. What you'll find is by the end of the journey, you wouldn't land in New York, you'd actually land in Washington, D.C. See, at the moment of the pilot announcing that, you wouldn't think it'd have such a profound impact on where you'd ended up. It's only until later, where you look back in retrospect, you realize how much of a small decision led to where you ended up. So whatever is in front of you right now, whatever decision you're putting off, I encourage you to make that decision now. And by the way, I'm no sort of saint here as well. I've put things off to the future many, many times. I think we're all the same. In fact, I have a personal story to illustrate this. For example, around 2 years ago, I always wanted to do a fight, particularly a kickboxing fight. But I believed that I wasn't ready for this, that I didn't have the skills, that I didn't have enough time under my belt, until one day, my friend, he sent me a text message saying, "Hey, I've signed up for this cage fight, I think you should do it." And I immediately felt this call to adventure, as Joseph Campbell would say, this call to adventure to sign up for this fight. But immediately I had all this resistance saying, no, you can just do it later on, you don't have the skills, now's not the right time, all these excuses that I made in my mind. But then I went upstairs and I looked in the mirror and I said, like, what is the point in waiting? Like, this is something I want to do, and I'm going to do it eventually. There's a golden opportunity here. It was 8 weeks of free training with this particular fighting gym for this MMA fight. So I just signed up there and then on that day. And over the next 8 weeks, I would train pretty much every day. I remember learning jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, boxing, and if you ever done a fight, you know exactly how it feels. You're met with this internal battle every single morning, you know, with all these what-if scenarios. What if I lose? What if I get choked out? What if I get knocked out? And you never know until you face that actual day of the fight. But every single day, I just kept showing up, and then eventually the day came where I was going to fight. And I remember walking into the cage, feeling absolutely shit scared, but it went well, and I ended up winning, and it was the greatest feeling of victory I had for a very long time. And if you don't believe me, the fight is actually on YouTube. If you just search my name, Jay Sachanya, Ultra MMA, it should pop up. But anyways, I'm not telling you that to say, hey, look how amazing I am, or encourage you to do a cage fight. No, I'm not doing that at all. The only reason why I share that story is because for me, anyways, that was a time where I was met with a decision, something that I wanted to do that I was going to put off and probably would have never have done. For example, imagine if I read that text message and I was just like, nah, I don't want to do that. It would have literally eaten away at me forever, because it's something I always wanted to do, but I would have just put it off, you know. And as hard as it was, as scary as it was, there was a lot that I learned from that experience. But the reason why I'm telling you this mainly is because maybe there's something that you're avoiding right now. There's a decision that you want to make that you're not quite making. And I just implore you to make that decision. What is the worst that could happen? You may not be able to connect the dots looking forward, but as Steve Jobs once said, you can connect the dots looking backwards. Another thing as well is we often assume that everyone around us has got it all figured out. Everyone knows exactly what they're doing and that they're doing the right thing at that moment in time. But oftentimes, if you talk to someone deeply enough about their personal life, what you'll find is that most people don't have it figured out. They have no idea what they're doing and they're just winging it. Even me, I have no idea why I feel compelled to make these videos. I have no idea if anyone's even watching this video right now. I have no idea if anyone's even gonna watch the other videos that I make on the channel, but for some strange reason I feel compelled to make these videos, so I will continue doing so. Because like I said at the start of the video, you know, the clock keeps ticking anyway. Whether I film these videos or not, time is gonna pass unrelentingly. So what are you really waiting for? You know, just make the decision. You won't regret it looking back, and it may feel uncomfortable now, but there's a lot of gold on the other side of making that hard decision. And by the way, if you're new to this channel, my name is Jay Suchanya, and I've called it J.AI or JAI because YouTube doesn't let me put a dot in the name for some strange reason. But I've called it JAI because I'm essentially creating an AI version of myself. And basically the only way it's going to work is the more information I share about myself, about my philosophy, about my beliefs, the more realistic the AI model will be about me, the more realistic it will be like me. The less I share, the more robotic I am, the more held back I am, the less it's going to know about me. So I kind of have an obligation to make these kind of videos, otherwise the AI model isn't going to work. If I don't share who I am with the world, then the AI won't know anything about me. But yeah, if you like this kind of video, then feel free to hit the subscribe button below for more content like this, and if you're interested in J.AI, there's a link below, and that will be released soon, but it's not quite ready yet. But yeah, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.